You don't know there's a singer named David. This was going on for a while now, these last few months. And he was dating this young woman. She was about what, 14, 12 or something like that when he was dating her. And he was on tour. And while he was on tour, his Tesla was parked, you know what I'm saying, in front of his place where he was staying. And next thing you know, his Tesla got towed. And when it got towed to the junkyard, wherever they towed it at, it was a crazy odor, an odor of something stank. You know what I mean? Come to find out, it was the young lady that he was dating. You know what I mean? It was this young woman, and still kind of figuring out like what happened to her and stuff like that. But nobody really know what happened or how the body got in there. And David, the singer, that's his car, arrested him, but he was on tour, and he hasn't been arrested yet. You know what I'm saying? And at first glance, I always thought that, listen, this is your car, this is your girlfriend. You ain't know what happened to her. And like I say, they haven't arrested this guy yet. You know what I mean? A lot of clues and stuff like that. Everybody trying to be detective online and stuff, but everybody's still not getting it right. You know what I'm saying? Nobody really know what's going on. So now I'm guessing a grand jury is, getting together, and one of David's associates has been arrested, I guess, for not helping out. And that's where we at now to this day, a few months later. David's still not arrested. So let's see the update on this right here. So it says, friend of David arrested for failure to appear in homicide investigation.
That was singer David in a documentary with Spotify over 2 years ago. Well, now a friend of the singer's is finding himself behind bars related to the investigation into the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. 23-year-old Neo Langston was arrested last week in Montana on an out-of-state warrant issued by the LAPD. Now, this after the popular streamer failed to appear as a grand jury witness. Langston's being held this morning without any bond. He's back in the custody of the LAPD. As for David, he was identified as a suspect in the death of Rivas Hernandez late last year, but has not been charged with any crimes. Now, the remains of Celeste Rivas Hernandez were found back in September, her body severely decomposed. The teenager was reported missing in April of 2024. Okay, so apparently they wanted the testimony from this Neo Langston to go before the grand jury. He didn't show up, so police come and get you. You get picked up on the failure to appear warrant, and we'll see what happens next. But we're wondering, how might this arrest impact the investigation? Let's bring in our power panel. Still with me, former prosecutor Melba Pearson. Want to welcome in private investigator Manuel Gomez. Okay, so it seems that his testimony must be important, huh? Melba, what do you say about that? They picked him up.
Appreciate you for tuning in, man. Have a good day as well.
Yeah, well, like as you said at the top, Julie, when you get that subpoena, you got to show up, right? Like, it's not like, oh, if I ignore this, it'll go away. No, that then comes the knock at the door. So he learned that in real time. And so I think at the end of the day, the investigation is continuing because we don't have any clear answers, right? We still don't know her cause of death. We still don't know how this poor child, yes, child, ended up in the trunk or the frunk of this car. And the investigators need to talk to all the friends, everybody within David's circle, to kind of try and figure out and piece together a timeline and figure out what.
Nobody really talking around David's camp, man. Nobody really talking about what happened. I mean, they all got a closed lip on this situation. And like I say, it was months now that this girl has been killed and found in the back of his Tesla's trunk, which is crazy and sad as well. Nobody really talking. The authorities really don't know. They haven't really arrested anybody. And this is the first person that they really arrested. And that's basically because he failed to appear. You know what I mean? So this case has been wild. I don't know if y'all don't tune into it, but this case is crazy, man. They found a girl in the trunk of the car. No arrests have been made. They still don't even know how she really died. Crazy.
Caused her death and what happened in her last days on Earth. And he may have a very key piece of the puzzle, but we won't know that until he actually sits down and testifies. So that's why it's critical, especially if he's so close to David, that investigators get to hear what he has to say. But in all likelihood, he doesn't want to be a snitch. That's probably his mindset.
Oh, yeah, I think you're exactly right, Melba. Manuel, I thought of you as soon as Melba put the emphasis on the child, something you and I have talked a lot about with this case as you've given us analysis, this underage girl. Talk to me, Manuel. What do you think about this streamer potentially being a valuable witness?
Well, Julie, I believe that he is a valuable witness. The problem here is, look at his picture. He's got a lotto smile. He's literally one cheek to the other smiling, like he's just going to a club or dancing. I'm sorry, look at that. I mean, that smile says you have it says you have nothing on me. That smile says, I'm okay. I'm not worried. He's wearing an orange jumpsuit. He should be sad and upset, but he's not. So what does that smile tell me in my professional experience? That he's not going to be a good witness, and that he's most likely not going to say anything. And this is why he's smiling, because he's saying, wow, they don't really have nothing on me. And that's the problem with this guy. And you can see it in his face. And I've seen this numerous times throughout my experience.
Yeah. So what do you do with a guy like that, Manuel? Do you try to lean on him, before he lawyers up? What do you do with him?
Well, you know what? They have to keep the pressure on him. And the only way they're going to keep the pressure on him is try to deny him bail any way they can. And then once he starts feeling the pressure of being in jail, not having freedom, then he's going to think twice. That smile will go away, and I promise you, he's going to start talking. But like my colleague Melba said, the evidence is overwhelming in this case when it comes to David being a child predator. He was online playing Fortnite with her when Celeste was between 12 and 13 years old. Parents, everyone out there, you have to take control of what our children are doing, because this is not the first time that a case like this has happened, and it sure as hell will not be the last, because these sexual predators out there are playing games with our children in the safety of their bedrooms, and 99% of the parents don't even realize it.
Yeah, that's very true right there. You know what I'm saying? These guys, a lot of people playing games online and stuff like that, and the parents don't really know who the kids really playing games with. You know what I'm saying? You got kids playing all day and really talking to these grown folks online. You know what I mean? So, like I say, man, the situation is wild and sad that this young lady was young. You know what I mean? It was young when it was dating, pictures and videos of with both of them online and stuff like that. So the police still haven't arrested this guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, great points. I want to share with you both the latest statement from the LAPD's chief medical examiner talking about Celeste Rivas Hernandez's death, saying, quote, the cause and manner of death remain pending. The statement goes on to say the law precludes us from doing so while the court order remains in this case. Okay, so they don't have answers, it seems. And Melba, going back to you, I'm wondering if this is because of the state of her body when she was found. What are your thoughts on why we haven't seen cause and manner of death firmly determined here?
Because, again, like you said, Julie, the decomposition is so severe that it makes it impossible for the medical examiner to figure out what happened to her. So a medical examiner would be trying to look, for instance, at surface injuries. So if it was, let's say, strangulation, they're looking for if there's a broken hyoid bone, if there's, like pressure, bruises, anything like that. They're looking for gunshot wounds. They're looking for knife wounds. But again, if the body is so severely decomposed, and I mean all respect to this poor child who should be with us, but the human body, when it decomposes, it takes a lot of its secrets with it. So in this instance, we may have a scenario where we may never know the cause of death, and it may be listed as undetermined, which makes it an uphill battle for prosecutors. Not impossible, but it makes it an uphill battle when it comes time for prosecution.
Malva, great points. Manuel, back to you in terms of trying to get information from these guys who might have been in David's circle. Is this a lost cause? It feels like it's been so long.
No, it's not a lost cause. I mean, the fact, like I said, that we have this guy under custody now, it has strengthened the cause of this case and actually moves it a little bit forward, because now they have an opportunity to lean on somebody. But like Melba said, when it comes to the body, we're most likely never going to know the cause of death because of how much it decayed. But there is a fact here that is unequivocal. One, he reported that car stolen. That Tesla was found approximately 1.5 city blocks from his house. No car thief steals $100,000 Tesla and then parks it a block and a half away. I'm sorry. That is insane. And that circumstantial evidence, Julie, is overwhelming. That body was in the trunk. It was a murder. Will we know the cause of death? No. But do we know it was a murder? Yes. Because she didn't crawl inside of a trunk and dismember herself. The fact is, Julie, that car being a block and a half away suggests that he parked it there. Is it circumstantial? Yes. But I know a jury will most likely find him guilty.
Hot take, Manuel. I love the
Listen, I mean, yeah, I definitely get what he's saying that he think the jury would found him guilty, but then again, they haven't still arrested this guy. They haven't pointed nothing at this guy. They say he a suspect. I think one or two times they did say he was a suspect. You know what I'm saying? But they still haven't arrested him. You know, a lot of people are really giving their opinion. You know what I'm saying? But it's like they spewing so much stuff out, but they still haven't arrested this guy. Yeah, you can give your opinion on what you think might will happen and what you think will happen, but until this guy get arrested, we all just speculating. You know what I mean? And it's a sad situation because this girl, you know, lost her life. You know what I mean? And the body was so decomposed and been in that trunk for so long in that heat from the California weather. It's just sad, man, and it's very sad. And I really do hope they find out what really happened and also arrest somebody. You know what I mean? Arrest somebody in this situation, man. Listen, it's crazy. But let me know what y'all think about that.